Hi, welcome back. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the ethics of multivariate analysis. So remember, multivariate analysis is working with 3 or more variables at once. Multivariate analysis is where most of the interesting stuff in data analysis happens. And it can get complicated really quickly. And when things get complicated, it can look like relationships are emerging or causality or prediction is being proven when in fact it may or may not be. So when writing for a popular audience about multivariate analysis, it's important that you take some ethical precautions. The first is, have you considered that the entire thing may be being caused by chance? That what you're looking at in your data may be just simply chance. It does happen. Second thing is, have you thought about other things that might be in this relationship but may not be in the data? So if you're looking at thing 1 causes thing 2, have you thought about the moderators, the mediators, and the confounders that are probably influencing this relationship, if this relationship exists in the real, complex, holistic world? But those mediators, moderators, and confounders might not be in your data set. So have you thought about that? Third, have you thought about the direction of the relationship? So if you're talking about thing 1 causing thing 2, have you really seriously considered that thing 2 might be causing thing 1? It's really easy to see relationships that you already believe to exist and then find data that confirms that. We've talked about that before. So make sure that even if it seems completely crazy that thing 2 is causing thing 1, sit down and make a really good argument for the fact that it is. And if you can, you have to talk about that in your reporting. The last thing is, have you considered really thoroughly, back to the data biography, what the data is actually measuring and who is and is not included in the data? Because that can really make a big difference on the multivariate analysis. As soon as you start getting really complicated and using 3, 4, 5 variables, then it really starts to matter who's not in your data. And 5th, level of analysis. So we've talked about that. It's probably one of the most important things to think about in terms of data journalism. And the reason it's important is that you often don't have the data at the level of analysis that you want. So these 5 things are the cornerstones of reporting ethically on multivariate analysis. If we take a quick example, we have data about the proportion of people in a country that smoke and the life expectancy in that country. So if we look at that data, we plot the average number of cigarettes per day by the average life expectancy, break this out by country, and look at a trend line. What do we see? Smoking is great for your health. Really, really good. Countries that smoke more have a higher life expectancy. In fact, if we look at this, it's possible to see, if you do the calculations behind the regression trend line, that 8 cigarettes a day will add a year to your life. Now, there's a lot of science to say that this is not true. And one of the ways that we can see this is if we add additional variables. So if we add the money spent on health within a country, you can see that changes the relationships quite a bit. Another thing is to change control by country. So there's a lot of things that happen within a country that would affect the relationship between smoking and life expectancy. So you'll want to look at within the country and between the countries. And then finally, you can't make statements about individual people here because this data is at the level of the country. So that's a quick example of the 5 things you need to think about when you're going to write about multivariate analysis. Thank you.